Revered, the king of the monster trucks, Bigfoot, heads up a field of the top racing trucks in an all-out side-by-side demolition drag race coming up next. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the superstars of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Nationals Monster Truck Challenge. Welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the National Network. Today we're at Memphis Motorsports Park for the 6th annual four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Lee alongside Army Armstrong, and these Jamborees represent a kaleidoscope of sound and color and activity for the truck lovers.
Gary, it's almost like when you were a kid and you went to the zoo. Now you may wonder about that, Lee, but what I'm going to talk about is look over our shoulder. The brand new truck on the circuit goes by the name of Snakebite. Now this guy nobody knows anything about. He goes by the name of Colt Cobra. The name of the truck is Snakebite, and he came and put the word out. I don't like any of those other monster trucks. I'm going to beat them all in Memphis.
Well, we'll see if he can. We have side-by-side monster truck competition coming up next. It's the 6th annual Penda Liner, Bedliners, four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals, all part of the General Tire Special Events Performance Series. A unique format, a 12-truck field, 10 by invitation, 2 from open qualifying. Any MTRA member can come out and try to qualify to make the field. But the real story today could be the track and the high jumps. Here with more on that is Army Armstrong.
Well, Gary, one of the big questions today, it seems to keep popping up, is the question of ramps. Now, those of you that follow monster trucks, you've heard us use the terminology before. That's the incline the trucks take before they go over the obstacles, in this case, the car. What they're running into here, the second ramp, if you will, is too steep. It's giving the guys way, way too much air. Now, what that does is throw them over a big open pit after the first set of cars. The second ramp is causing all kind of problems here today and get you in a whole lot of trouble if you don't watch it.
Army, we have an example of that from qualifying. Here is Snakebite, the 91 Ford with that fiberglass doghouse. He gets in trouble coming over the second ramp right here.
Yeah, when he lands, his name comes true. He is snake-bit. Left rear tire goes away. Now the left front, he's got his hands full trying to get ready for the first round, Gary.
And also with some problems, another Ford, Bigfoot, and under that tube-frame truck is Andy Brass.
Yeah, but Gary, the word we're getting, they're thrashing, trying to get the drivetrain squared away. Will they make the first round? We're going to have to wait and see.
Here are the pairings for round one. Barefoot, the fast qualifier against King Crunch, and Snakebite, the open qualifier against No Problem. Then it's Equalizer against another open qualifier, Wild Thing, and Taurus will take on Nightlife. Also in round one, USA 1 against Bigfoot, Chevrolet against Ford, and the Carolina Crusher against Nightmare. Round one competition from Memphis Motorsports Park. Here is another tube-frame truck, Barefoot, the Chevrolet Fred Schaefer out of Pontoon Beach, Illinois.
Gary, you know, you're giving us a rundown a moment ago on the pairings as he goes up against Scott Stevens out of Texas. Well, the Barefoot truck is your current national champion with one of the sanctioning bodies, the SRO pays people, so he's carrying their colors too. Chevrolet's a pair. Let's see what's going to happen. Advantage should go to the Barefoot by virtue of being the new chassis setup.
But look at the air that he has.
Tremendous hang time by Schaefer. He completely cleared both sets of cars, Gary Lee.
Well, Barefoot in a tube-frame truck, a Chevrolet, knocks out another Chevrolet, the Auto Value King Crunch.
Boy, Scott Stevens with the cantilever truck ran him hard, but the new truck, the new technology, we're going to be talking about that the rest of the day. Watch the amount of time he stays near. Look at that.
Yeah, look at the air time. When you talk about technology, you're talking about suspensions. You can see the suspension work here on Barefoot. He takes the victory, a $100,000 truck that took 6 months to build. Let's go back and talk to the driver, Army.
Fred, you're going through this first round on a unique track and a unique situation. What's it like out there?
It seems like I'm getting a lot of air. It's kind of hard to tell. It's a split-second thing, but it seems like I've got a lot of hang time up there.
What about the transmission? You run a different transmission, a lot of these guys. Is that an advantage to you on the start?
I think it is, but right now I'm messing with the gears and transfer case, and I really don't know what I'm supposed to do on this track, and I'm trying to feel it out, so I might be changing that between rounds.
And look at a home state hero. Here is young Greg Holbrook in the GMC Equalizer. He comes in from Springfield, Tennessee.
But Gary, one of the interesting stories this afternoon from Memphis will be the truck he's going up against. The first time Jim Booker ever sat in a monster truck was yesterday afternoon. He just motored around a pit area, and he qualified for one of the 2 open spots. But who does he draw? None other than one of the baddest of the bad, the Equalizer.
Talk about going to school and getting an education. Look at the air time in the equalizer. He almost gets disqualified by going out of bounds. He has a problem, and Booker's going to take the victory.
The first time ever in open competition, qualifies to run with the big boys and beats one of the biggest, but the big story might be right there. Holbrook looks like the whole rear suspension is collapsed, Gary.
Well, you saw the air that he got over the first jump in the set of cars. He came down, almost went out of bounds. We'll look again. Now watch the air. He comes down, he's headed out of bounds. He has to stay on the throttle, tries to get the truck lined up for the second jump, and he has trouble right there.
Gary, the old second jump is what caught him. He hit those ramps a little bit crooked and caused the whole rear suspension to collapse. Now, the owner of the truck, Gary Cook, goes over there checking it, and the word we're getting, they've done a lot more than suspension damage. We understand the engine has actually been damaged. It sits behind the driver, and the word we're getting is that Gary Cook and some of his backyard engineering may have caught up with him. Some pieces really broke. A lot of pieces broke, Gary. But let's take a ride with him and see what it's all about.
It's a short ride, but a rough ride inside the cab of Equalizer with young Greg Holbrook. A good crowd on hand here for the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals, bathed in sunshine here at Memphis Motorsports Park as we take a look at Wayne Smozanik, the 1990 Chevy called Nightlife out of Jupiter, Florida.
Well, people are familiar with the name of the truck, Nightlife. Dave Wysorek used to own it. Wayne just bought the truck, and who's he going up against in the first round? Jack Willman Jr. out of Granite City, Illinois, with the Tonka truck they call the Taurus.
That'll be a tall order for Wayne to knock out Taurus here in round one in Memphis.
We keep talking about the technology of the truck. One of the newer technology trucks will be the Tonka truck, and I want you to notice how quick it moves. But the left front seems to tuck on him real bad. Look at this. Again, both jumps, the left front nosed over, Gary.
Well, not once, but twice, Jackie Willman Jr. almost went out of bounds. Let's watch again. He has to fight that thing. That's like a race car pushing through a corner, and you're struggling to get that thing turned.
You know, you're not only dealing with left and rights and ups and downs in monster truck racing, you're dealing with pitch and yaw, too, Gary. That's a perfect example.
Now you're using those aviation terms. Let's talk to young Jack.
Jack, the landings look so critical, but you're just clipping the last vehicles on both jumps.
Yeah, I only run in second gear on the transmission on that run. I could have probably used high gear and it would put me out there farther and have been a little bit smoother landing, but I didn't know, and I was just trying to make that race.
Well, we'll see young Jack Willman Jr. in round two, but right now as Everett Jasper in the USA 1 shirt standing on top the junkers, he is lining up his driver Steve Wilkie, USA 1.
Yeah, but Gary, look who he's going up against. You talk about a classic battle. No love lost. White truck, Chevrolet. Blue truck is Ford. Andy Brass going against Steve Wilkie. The old-time rivalry stays alive in Memphis. Ford versus Chevrolet. Let's kick back and just watch this one.
Steve Wilkie in the white USA 1, the blue Bigfoot. Oh, Andy Brass gets the hole shot.
Boy, Brass drilled him on the starting line. Wilkie trying to pull back.
Wilkie was never in this event. Once that Christmas tree went green, Brass was gone.
Oh, Gary, you're exactly right. When that light turned green, that big blue Ford ran to riot after the USA 1 Chevrolet. Everett Jasper onto the truck trying to figure it out. I think what happened here was Steve Wilkie just flat made Andy Brass mad, told him he's going to beat him off the start line, and Brass no way was going to concede to that.
Wilkie may have some explaining to do. Let's eavesdrop on the conversation with owner and driver.
I feel bad. But again, I didn't see him. I didn't see him until he was here. Yeah. So I must have been right with him, you know.
Well, obviously, Steve didn't see the same race that we saw because he was not right with him. Bigfoot takes the victory, and here is your winner, Andy Brass with Army Armstrong.
Well, Gary, in any motorsport, mind games is a part of it. Andy, I understand he came up to you before you ran, said he's going to drill you on the starting line. You didn't let that happen.
That's right. You know, in a lot of this game here, there's going to be a lot of real close racing, so you got to play the light real good. You know, I hit the light right. You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, I was almost positive in my mind that we pulled a green light. You know, they thought we red lighted, but I was almost positive it was green, and it was. So that's all it took, you know. And like I say, it's the light. I think it's going to make a lot of racing here today.
The action will continue from Memphis Motorsports Park. And what other color would you expect in the birthplace of the Blues? Welcome to Memphis Motorsports Park for the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals. Army Armstrong and Gary Lee. Round one action continuing. To your left, the Carolina Crusher. To the right, Nightmare.
Gary, what we're going to be looking at is Steve Hess, the Nightmare, the same truck he's been running for about 6 or 7 years. It's a GMC, but he goes up against a brand new Gary Porter prepared Wadesville, North Carolina-based Carolina Crusher. Fiberglass body, really looking good, Gary.
Well, Nightmare looks like he got the good jump, but here comes Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher. Nightmare's in trouble.
Okay, perfect example on this run. The older suspension trucks are too stiff. They're rigid. That's why Hess had problems. Meanwhile, Porter goes through with the new sponge-type suspension, and he'll go into the next round.
Well, a new paint job to go along with that new fiberglass body truck. And here is the good jump off the start. And here's the difference right here as they land that first time.
Okay, you notice how Porter stays close to the ground. Hess is bouncing all over. The race is over for all intents and purposes, Gary Lee.
And, of course, with the new suspensions, simply meaning more money spent on the trucks to be competitive. That's kind of the rule of motorsports. How fast you want to go, how competitive you want to be, how much money you want to spend.
That's exactly what it's all about. Now, speaking of spending money, nobody knows anything at all about this next vehicle coming out. We know that he comes out of Cobra Creek, Colorado. He goes by the name of Colt Cobra, and he doesn't mess with anybody. He came in, he stayed all to himself. He's going to be going up against Tennessee's own John Moore with the truck they call No Problem.
Talk about problems, though. They had problems with their tow rig getting in here.
Yeah, it was completely demolished in a highway accident. Gary Cook, the owner of the Equalizer, had to go back and pick up the No Problem team and bring them down here. But the question now, what's the story on the snake bite truck? Hey, John Moore's not afraid of it. He's going after him.
But once again, a lot of bouncing between those cars, and who's going to win it? Moore
yeah.
by a nose.
Moore comes back on the big end, the short wheelbase truck. That would have to be considered an upset.
So John Moore in the Ford product takes the measure of Snakebite. But watch, Snakebite had him all the way until the very end of this run.
The second set of ramps, we opened the show telling you about him right there. He misses those ramps, Gary. He was completely out of shape. Moore stayed with what's got him there, just stayed consistent. He'll go to the next round.
Well, look at this. Here is the driver of Snakebite, Colt Cobra.
I'll be back.
Okay, we'll take that promise. As we take a look now at the results going into round two, it will be Barefoot against No Problem. Wild Thing will match up against Taurus. Bigfoot will see the Carolina Crusher. And remember, the fastest second round time will have a bye to the finals.
Well, Gary, here's the Cinderella story we were telling you about. Jim Booker, this time yesterday, had never been in a monster truck. He drove it around a pit area, won his first round, but it's going to get tougher as you go deeper into this field because old Taurus is going to be pulling up on the left lane, going heads up to him. Taurus, again, one of the new trucks, the soft truck. This is the driver's father, Jack Willman Sr., Jr. doing the driving, sponsorships by the Tonka Toy Company. But in order to win, you got to be first on the other end, and look at that, Gary Lee.
Willman cut a good line, had the horsepower. Look at the air, and he has the victory.
Yeah, but Gary, the truck's doing the same thing. It noses over to the left, and he still goes a 6:81, under 7 seconds on this track, Gary.
Remember, that's important because the fastest run will have a bye to the finals. Willman got the good jump, then powered through that second set of cars, takes the victory, but it was not without some problems. Here's Army.
What's the problem down here?
I broke a couple rear shock bolts. It's kind of minor. We just, need to get on it and get her fixed.
You will be able to get back in the next round?
I believe so. I don't know how much time we got, but we're going to try.
What a great story. Son driving for father, and they're trying to get that truck ready for the next round of competition here in Memphis. So you go from driver to mechanic, and here's the guy that drives them, works on them, Andy Brass in Bigfoot 8 out of St. Louis, Missouri, along with Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher. These guys have faced each other many times before.
You know, that's so very true, but every time they go to the starting line, they put the war paint on. The friendship goes out the window. It's the first one to the other end. The 681 is quick time. Brass drills the left lane, comes down going hard. Look at this run, Gary.
Oh,
Again.
Andy Brass, he almost goes out of bounds, just barely keeps it in. Let's check the time. Look at that.
Hey, Gary, check these numbers. A 6:43 out of the left lane, but a lot of damage to be done to the vehicles. Everybody's landing cockeyed to the left. Replay's going to show us right now.
Coming right at you. Watch Andy Brass and Bigfoot land hard on the left side tires. That Bigfoot may have stubbed a toe on that one as they look at some possible damage. Let's talk to Andy Brass.
Every time you and Porter go together, it's like an old-time street fight. There's no difference right there.
That's right. Gary's been running strong. He's built one of the new trucks. It's been running real good, and we just had to stay with it, And like I said, I got knocked out of qualifying a little earlier, so I'm trying to get used to the track now, and I'm just playing as hard as I can.
Here's another new truck that's been running very, very good. Fred Schaefer, Pontoon Beach, Illinois, in Barefoot, the Chevrolet. And he takes on the Ford, no problem, John Moore out of Lafayette, Tennessee.
Well, this is kind of an awkward situation to be in because one of these trucks is going to make it through the next round. The other one's going to go on a trailer. The Tonka-sponsored vehicle, Chevrolet left lane barefoot. He's your current world champion in the SRO pace category. Looks to be manhandling the Ford. Oh, Gary, he completely cleared the last set of cars.
Well, let's take a look now at the time to see if he can get that bye into the finals. Remember, the time to beat was 6:43. He doesn't do it. A 6:57. That means that Bigfoot will have the bye to the finals. Look at the air. Watch this second jump.
He cleared the last car by about 8 feet. Gary, everybody paid a price to get through that round.
We are ready for the semifinal action here at Memphis Motorsports Park, part of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals.
Gary, look at the lineup. The SRO National Champion Barefoot, he'll be going against the Taurus. He represents the USA organization. And Bigfoot, he'll be representing TNT. Only 3 alive in Memphis at this time.
And Army Bigfoot will have the bye to the finals. He had the quickest quarterfinal round.
Well, Gary, down to 3, all these youngsters, they know the trucks they're going to be pulling for because all the trucks in the final are going to be sponsored by a major toy company. The Tonka trucks will be going to see who's going to run against Bigfoot. He's sponsored by Hot Wheels.
Well, there's a look at Taurus, the 88 GMC, sponsored by Tonka. And there's a look at Barefoot, the 90 Chevrolet, also sponsored by Tonka.
Well, Gary, the handwriting's on the wall. In order to get to the final here, you had to run the latest state-of-the-art chassis design.
Well, this is a shootout between Barefoot and Taurus for the right to meet Bigfoot in the championship here at Memphis, Tennessee.
And laying all the cards on the table, I'm going to be very upfront. There is no love at all between these two trucks.
Well, both get a good start side by side, but over the second one, oh, it's out of bounds for Barefoot. Barefoot will be disqualified. They lose the left rear tire on Taurus. He's in trouble.
These guys, I keep referring to an old-time street fight. Man, this was a classic example. Barefoot disqualified. Taurus goes so hard. Look on the final jump now. They're clearing the first jump now. But I want you to watch Wellman. Right now, he literally pulls the trigger and clears by about 5 or 6 cars that final jump as he goes past his father, who, by the way, is dodging to get away from Barefoot.
He's jumping behind that telephone pole right there to miss Barefoot, as Barefoot is disqualified for going out of bounds. Now, father and son look over the damage to the left rear.
But he went out of bounds.
Yeah, the tire ain't broke in the front. It's talking money. I mean, I had the bars holding it. I mean, I could go over the cars.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, if we can get some air.
Gary, I think they're going to try to get back in this thing.
Give us a few minutes, get some air.
Do we got 5 minutes? Ask him. Tell him I can run.
Why says he can run if he's got 5 minutes? Well, we need some air. We need some air. Whatever.
You got it.
Well, he might not be much of a match for Bigfoot in the finals, but they're going to try it. Let's look again. Now watch, they're very even right here. Now watch Barefoot head out of bounds and look at the air as he noses down. But once again, young Willman keeps the foot on the throttle and powers out. Well, Army, check and see if he can make the finals.
Okay, Jack, you got a 5-minute clock going for you. Can you make it?
Yeah, I need a little bit of air. I done some more damage under there, but as long as I can make the pass, you know, I can get second place. And it was a tough run.
A little bit of air. Look at the rear tire. Looks like it's major damage.
Yeah, well, the front bead is off, which is obvious to see, and the back is on, so it'll take air just as soon as I can get air. So we're talking a couple minutes, and I can be back on the track.
We'll see you there.
Thank you.
Bigfoot and Taurus in the finals from Memphis. Wheel and Off-Road Jamboree Nationals are loaded with activities for the truck enthusiasts and the entire family. For information, call or write the Special Events Company.
Well, Gary, the air is there, and it's final time in Memphis. The classic battle of Chevrolet going against Ford, Taurus going against Bigfoot.
Well, this Taurus is injured. The question is, will he actually make an attempt or just present himself to get second place points? It's Bigfoot with Andy Brass, Jack Willman Jr., and yes, he just makes an appearance for second place, prize money and points, and Bigfoot will take the victory. No competition there.
Andy Brass definitely, you know, he went ahead and made a run out of it. The rumor mill was saying Taurus is not going to run hard, but you don't roll over. You don't let anybody walk into the next round. These guys did exactly what they had to do. They gave it their best shot. It was not to be their day, but his truck won.
Well, young driver in the making right there. Let's talk to our victor, Andy Brass.
Okay, Andy, when you went to the final, did you think he was going to run you out the back door?
Well, we knew he was going to run. You know, I tried to take a good look at his truck when he was backing up to the line to see if it was still broke. You know, it was leaning a little bit to the driver's side, it looked like, so I figured he busted one of his shocks and he wouldn't run that hard. So we just kind of got him off the line and didn't hear him coming, so we just kind of took it easy.
Congratulations to Andy Brass as we take a look at father and son. They'll take second place points and prize money here in Memphis, Tennessee. Army, that looks like something I could handle.
No, I tell you what, Gary Lee, you're more of a pedal car kind of guy.
For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. That wraps it up from Memphis Motorsports Park. See you next week for another edition of Trucks and Tractor Power. Now stay tuned for an exciting home video from Diamond P Sports. It's time to shake, battle, and roll. Call 1-800-453-2800 for 70 minutes of awesome air-grabbing rooster tail spring action from the worlds of monster truck racing, truck and tractor pulling, and mud bogging. Relive the great moments of thrilling side-by-side monster truck racing. Feel the ground shake from the raw power of truck and tractor pulling. And get down and dirty as the best mud racers battle the slime for the fastest time. All this incredible action on one video cassette just by calling 1-800-453-2800. That's 1-800-453-2800. Strap up for a ride on the wild side. It's time to shake, battle, and roll.